Joining us now, North Carolina Congressman Mark Meadows. He's a Republican on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. He's also chairman of the conservative House Freedom Caucus. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be with you, Wolf. Thanks so much.
Do you think the president is going to run for a second term, and will you support him?
You know, I think that not only is he going to run for a second term, but he's going to run strongly for a second term, already putting together his team to do that. So suggestions by some senators that they don't know or they're not supporting him really is not something that I'm hearing back home in my district. I can tell you that, you know, when you have more money in your paychecks, that bodes well for re-election. But my conversations with the president don't give me any indication that he's not running, and certainly I'll support him, and we're going to try to make sure that we continue to deliver on behalf of this administration to the American people what they've asked for. And so Senator Corker or any of the others weighing in, I think normally it's the other way around. Senators are asking for his endorsement, not the president seeking theirs. But even with that, I think he'll run strong.
All right, let's get to some other issues in the news right now. As you know, a lot of Republicans have been highly critical of the special counsel Robert Mueller, saying he's overstepped his bounds. But prosecutors are pushing back on that idea, saying he hasn't gone rogue at all. Why not just let him finish his job?
Well, listen, we've been all about him finishing his job. I believe that he should finish his job and get it done quickly. You know, even Director Comey said a year into the investigation, you know, into Hillary Clinton, he believed that he had all the information he needed to either have a guilty or not guilty verdict. We're past 1 year on this Russia collusion narrative. I think he needs to bring it to a close and finish it. You know, when we talk about prosecutors are saying he hasn't gone beyond the scope of it, no one really knows. I mean, Bob Mueller is doing his investigation. Much of that is not leaked to the press. Kudos to him for that. But in the other part of that is, you know, everybody's opining on what should or shouldn't happen. I can tell you there's no evidence of collusion. At this point, we need to bring it to a close and get serious about what matters to your viewers and certainly to me, and that's making sure the economy and jobs continue to grow and spending our effort there.
Yeah, we don't know what, if any, evidence he's found Mueller and his team as far as collusion, other sensitive issues as well. Let's see what he comes up with. But I assume, Congressman, you would oppose the president's firing of Mueller or Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General.
Well, I think those are two different questions, Wolf, and one of those is really with Bob Mueller. There has been no discussions whatsoever about this president firing Bob Mueller. I think he's frustrated with the fact that this investigation continues to go on, as most Americans are frustrated with it. And yet at the same time, Rod Rosenstein, you know, he's issued a scope letter and has given Bob Mueller the directions that he sees fit in terms of that investigation. At this point, Rod Rosenstein has a number of other issues, and that's really getting documents to Congress that we've asked for, and he needs to get serious about that. Hopefully he will be, but I see those as two separate questions. I don't think Bob Mueller is in jeopardy of being fired or terminated. Perhaps you know, Rod Rosenstein is a little bit more ambiguous in terms of his future with this administration.
So would you be okay with the president firing Rosenstein?
You know, really, Rosenstein's real problem right now is more with Congress than it is with the president. And I can tell you that, you know, having really requested a number of documents, having subpoena deadlines that have come and gone without real response, having really the AG's office admit that they've been redacting things inappropriately in their sending of information to Congress, he needs to get serious about responding to congressional requests in days, not in weeks or months. And if he's willing to do that, I think it'll bode well for him, bode well for our country, and obviously will take some of the pressure off of him that he's getting from members of Congress.
As you, of course, know, the House Speaker, Paul Ryan, he has already announced he will not seek re-election. Who do you want the next speaker to be, assuming the Republicans retain the majority?
Well, I would be disappointed, Wolf, had you not asked that question, and you're going to be disappointed in my response. Obviously, there's not a race that's going on right now. Kevin McCarthy is certainly the front runner, but really there's a number of other people beyond the ones that have been reported that are talking about jumping into that race. So I don't see that race happening until after the November midterms. You know, there's a question right now whether we keep the majority or not, and so whether you run for speaker or minority leader may be a decision that we make in the coming months, not in the coming days. But right now, I can tell you there's no one who has 218 votes to be the speaker other than Speaker Ryan, and so that's a case to be made, whether it's made by Kevin McCarthy or Steve Scalise or Jim Jordan or anybody else that might be considering a run.
Congressman Mark Meadows, thanks as usual for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf. Always great to be with you and your viewers.
Thank you. Thanks very, very much. An important program.